Hey everybody, Nerd Transformed here again, and today, since it is the end of 2015, I've reviewed a lot more figures this year than I did last year. I thought I would do a top 5 best and a top 5 worst figures I've reviewed in 2015. And as you see, we have our 5 candidates right here, but what is their order, is the question. Well, let's get started. Ignore Superion back there and the 2 other Power Core Combiners. I kind of just have to sit there because I like them there. It's a nice little display spot for them. So, at number 5, see, 5 fingers, we have the Power Core Combiners Smolder. Now, he was my introduction to Power Core Combiners. However, he has a lot of flaws. In his ambulance mode, you can clearly see his head in the back, and you got the blue bits sticking out that just do not look good on him. You know, other Power Core Combiners handle those blue bits better by either just folding them away or having them be like a jetpack thing. But he just has them hanging off of him all over. And it's really distracting on his color scheme since it doesn't work with his colors at all. I don't like that his little buddy here is clear plastic, because clear plastic is very prone to breaking and cracking and just not being good. He's just overall he's such an okay figure with a bunch of flaws, plus his joints are really loose. And I've seen a few other ones of the same smolder also being loose. And considering he was the first run, you know, this isn't a remold, this is the first one of this figure, he really is kind of disappointed with how loose his joints are. Plus, on top of that, his kind of combined torso mode, it's got some odd proportions, and while I don't have any drones to put on him yet, I get the feeling it's not going to look too good. So that is Power Core Combiners Smolder. Not a horrible figure, but to be honest, yeah, he is kind of just on here because I said I would do top 5. He's just kind of bad by default compared to the rest of what I reviewed this year. At the number 4 spot, we have the Fall of Cybertron Onslaught. Now, not a horrible figure, but he's kind of marred by the same problems that some of the Power Cores have, that his size class is what's really hurting him. Now, as a deluxe, he's okay. He's got decent articulation. His arms could be a lot better. But as an Onslaught, he's just really under par, because Onslaught's supposed to be a big, bulky, or at least taller than his other comrades. And this one's just meh. Like I said, as a figure, he's not too bad. He's actually a pretty decent figure. There are much better ones, even within the Fall Cybertron line. Heck, even within the Bruticus team, there's a lot better ones. But he's still not horrible. But yeah, I really would recommend him. I don't like the arms. I don't like how they handle all this back here. I don't like the vehicle mode too much. He just feels really kind of just thrown together. I feel like they could have done a lot better with him is all. So that is Onslaught, and he takes the number 4 spot. At the number 3 spot, we have the Cybertron Blur. Now, while I do love this head sculpt, that is like one of his biggest saving graces is his head sculpt. His vehicle mode is actually really nice. I really like how his vehicle looks. I really like the futuristic kind of speed car he has. But his robot mode is just, yeah. For the people who complain about the Snowspeeder Luke Skywalker crossover figure, yeah, at least his was just panels. This is actual bulk hanging off his back. Like heavy bulk, as in he loses his bounce. I mean, he has pretty good sized heel spurs. But yeah, they don't do enough because of how heavy his bulk is. The only fix I can find usually is to flip his legs around, which, with his feet being wider, do hold a better stance. And plus, the clear plastic. It's in his shoulders, on both joints of the shoulders. It's in his knees and legs. It's the, and like, it being the wheels or the crotch plate or whatever, or even the feet, I don't mind. But the thing is, these shoulders and these legs are pretty, they have to carry a lot of weight and hold, and they're extremely tight. And as you can see, he's already cracking. My problem with this figure isn't even his articulation, even though his articulation is pretty bad, considering all he can really do is move his arms and swivel his head. My biggest problem is where they use the clear plastic. And another thing is this big heavy chunk of kibble on his back, it's held up by this clear plastic. So yeah, all the heaviest and most critical points of his transformation articulation is pulled together by clear plastic. And not very good clear plastic since it's thin and it's already cracking and breaking, and this figure's probably going to fall apart someday. So he easily deserves his number 3 spot. So we are getting into some of the really bad figures. Number 2 is the very first figure I ever reviewed. All the way back in 2013. We have Brawl. Now, while I still have some love for this figure, I do like his design. And I do think he does have a decent amount of bulk. My problem is this. A figure who can't stand is god-awful to me. These feet are extremely loose. And again, it's not like a one figure did this. This is... almost all the Brawls I've seen are like this. Even his remolds seem to have loose feet. And yeah, you can give him the stand, but his posability is useless because any air pose or standing straight, or even when he is standing straight, there he goes, and he topples air figures over too. So yeah, these feet are complete, and he doesn't really even have any real feet because it's basically just this line right here, because this is what he's basically standing on. And when his feet fold in, you're left with just this one little bar here. And of course, imagine trying to walk around and stand on just your heel spurs 24/7. Yeah, it would not be... Just imagine walking around on the balls of your feet, or your heels, and staying on them 24/7. It would not be easy. So, yeah, plus he has a turret on his back. He doesn't utilize his kibble very well. It's all kind of slabbed on there. But his main issue are those feet. He's just going to sit there and he's going to knock over a Power Core Combiner. And of course, number 1 goes to Galvatron. While he doesn't have the clear plastic problems of Blur or the standing problems of Brawl, he has a lot of issues, like part leprosy. Like, look, here's his arm. There goes his arm. Here's his arm again. Oh, and look, loose joints. And he is not a fun figure. His transformation is way, way, way overcomplicated to the point that it's not even fun to transform him. While his tank mode is actually kind of nice. I do like his tank mode. And his color scheme's not too bad. Maybe the orange is a bit strange with how much they use, but it's not horrible. He's just not good looking in his robot mode. He has an extremely small torso with humongous legs. For everybody who complains with the Combiner Wars groove, he basically has Groove's proportions, if a little bit worse, because his legs bulk out into these tiny feet. Because you have these big, chunky, bulky legs that do look kind of cool and could be kind of cool to look at. And then you have these tiny little feet just hanging off of them. And then, like, you use the knee, and the knee's way up here, and the proportions are just all weird. He just doesn't look good, he doesn't play good, he falls apart. Basically, the only thing I like about him is his tank mode. My problem is that there's very little good or fun to this figure. And that's a real problem, because he's supposed to be a toy. As a collector, he's not fun. As a kid, he wasn't fun, because I had him when I was like 10. He just isn't a fun toy. Heck, as a kid, I couldn't figure out how I'm getting back in the tank mode. Plus, his joints get all stuck all the time, they pop off, they can be a pain in the butt to get back in place. This port right here that the cannon arm pegs into, that pops off sometimes, and that thing is a pain in the butt to get back in. Plus, he doesn't even utilize everything well, because even with all his bulk, he still has this huge backpack. He's just not a good figure. He's a figure I want to like, but I just simply can't. The rest of them I like to a certain extent, but Galvatron, he's a mess. Anyway, guys, that was my top 5 fingers. Again, 5 fingers. That was my top 5 worst figures I reviewed of 2015. I'll most likely do the best soon. Hopefully tomorrow. I'm not sure when. My camera battery's going to die, and I don't know where the charger is. So, I hope you all have a good year. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy Hanukkah, all that good stuff. Happy New Year. I'll see you guys in 2016.